Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep, and I mean really deep, into one of India's most captivating mysteries. We're talking about a vast, advanced civilization that supposedly vanished beneath the waves thousands of years ago. This is the story of the lost continent of Kumari Kandam. Okay, let's start this off with a little puzzle for you. Take a look at your screen. You see 3 different maps of India. So which one is the real one? The answer is actually all of them. They're all correct just for different points in time, and this one simple fact, that the very shape of our world changes, well, that sets the stage for our entire story. So, to even understand how a whole civilization could be lost, we first have to look at a story that many people for a long time thought was pure myth, the city of Dwarka. For centuries, it was just a legend, but then, and this is the incredible part, archaeologists actually found it, submerged right off the coast of Gujarat. A real city, a real history, swallowed whole by the sea. This discovery proves that sometimes a myth, well, it can be a memory of a real place that was just forgotten.
Now, this idea of a lost land isn't just some ancient history. Fast forward to 2004, when that devastating tsunami hit the coast of India. The ocean pulled back dramatically, right? And in that brief moment, eyewitnesses near Kanyakumari reported seeing some really strange, man-made structures pop up from the seabed. Stone blocks, pillars, even what looked like stairs. One old man saw this and cried out with this incredible mix of awe and recognition, "This is our lost country, Kumari Kandam."
That name, Kumari Kandam, it echoes through centuries of Tamil literature. So what exactly is this legend all about? To find out, we've got to follow the clues, and they're hidden in some really ancient texts.
The scale of this place, at least according to these texts, is just staggering. We're not talking about an island here. No, we're talking about a massive continent stretching an incredible 7,000 kilometers. Imagine that. A land bridge that once connected India to lands as far away as Madagascar and even Australia.
And what's really striking is the amount of detail in these accounts. These aren't some vague fables. The ancient texts, they describe a really sophisticated society, ruled for ages by the Panjang kings. They even name its major rivers, the Paruli and the Kumari, and divide the whole continent into 49 distinct territories. It's almost like a geography textbook for a lost world, preserved in literature.
Now, at the intellectual and cultural heart of this lost continent were the legendary Tamil Sangams. And these weren't just meetings, They were these great, grand assemblies of the finest poets, scholars, and thinkers of the age, all dedicated to creating and preserving knowledge over thousands of years.
According to tradition, the first Sangam alone lasted for over 4,000 years. It was held in a great capital city that was eventually just consumed by the sea. Survivors then established a second Sangam, which was also lost to a cataclysm. The third Sangam is the one we know from the historical record, held in the modern city of Madurai. The timeline itself, it tells a story of survival, of cultural memory holding on against these repeated disasters.
So, for centuries, this was a powerful cultural story. But then, in the 19th century, the legend of Kumari Kandam got a surprising boost from a totally unexpected source: Western science.
And it all started, weirdly enough, with lemurs. Yep, lemurs. A British zoologist named Philip Sclater was completely stumped. He couldn't figure out how nearly identical fossils of these little guys could exist in both India and Madagascar, 2 places separated by thousands of kilometers of ocean. Before the theory of continental drift, there was really only one logical explanation he could think of.
Sclater proposed a hypothetical lost continent, a land bridge, and he named it Lemuria. And right there, you have this fascinating collision of ideas. Kumari Kandam, an ancient cultural memory of a lost homeland, and Lemuria, a modern scientific hypothesis. 2 ideas born worlds apart, about to meet.
And then, 19th century Tamil scholars made this bold, brilliant connection. They proposed that the scientific Lemuria and the legendary Kumari Kandam were actually one and the same. And just like that, an ancient myth was suddenly armed with a modern scientific theory, giving it this powerful new credibility on the world stage.
But really, could a continent, or at least a huge chunk of land, actually sink? Let's get into the science of it, because this is where a very plausible foundation for the legend starts to build.
So, here's the crucial part. During the last ice age, about 20,000 years ago, so much of the world's water was locked up in glaciers that sea levels were nearly 400 feet lower than they are today. That exposed these vast coastal plains that are now completely underwater. As the Earth warmed,
The ice melted, and the rising seas began to swallow those lands over thousands of years.
Just think about this for a second. Imagine our own big coastal cities, like Mumbai, being lost to rising seas over the next few centuries. If you tried to tell someone 300 years from now about this incredible, advanced city that's now deep underwater, would they believe you? Or would they just dismiss it as some fantastic story, a myth, because it doesn't show up on any of their maps? See, people living through these changes thousands of years ago, they wouldn't have used scientific terms like post-glacial sea level rise. No, they would have told stories. Stories of a great and terrible cataclysm, a Jal Pralaya, a great flood sent by the gods that took their entire world away from them. So, okay, we have the ancient legend, we have a scientific theory, and we have the real geological possibility of vast amounts of land just disappearing. So where does that leave our investigation into Kumari Kandam?
Well, marine archaeologists have scanned the ocean floor with all kinds of modern tech, and what they found is pretty telling. Now, have they found a massive lost continent full of gleaming cities? No. But they have found plenty of evidence of drowned river valleys and submerged continental shelves, right where the legends say Kumari Kandam was. And things like Ram Setu prove that land connections definitely did exist.
So the most likely conclusion here is that Kumari Kandam probably wasn't a single continent that sank overnight in some big cataclysm. Instead, the legend is likely a deep, profound cultural memory. It's a story that reflects a universal human experience, really. The trauma of losing your homeland to a changing world. A memory of real lands and real communities slowly lost to the rising seas.
And that leaves us with one last really provocative question. For centuries, people were convinced that the great city of Dwarka was just a myth, right up until its ruins were physically discovered beneath the waves. So, is Kumari Kandam really a myth? Or is it simply a history that is still out there, waiting to be found? What do you think?